I think Oscar Isaac is a really good model to look at when you want to become more confident, and people do that with ease. So I'll be going over 4 different things that he is doing so that you can become more confident in this way too. To give a little background, in this interview he is promoting his, I think, TV series, Moon Knight.
And London, like working class guys, which was great because I could always go to them and be like, how would you say this? What would you say? How do I sound? Does that sound okay?
In this clip, we really want to focus on how he is showing imperfections. And having imperfections in your life allows you to show vulnerability. Oscar talks about a time when he has to learn a new accent, and he goes around and asks any normal working class people, how do you say this? And that makes him seem less like a high and mighty person and someone that's more relatable. It shows that he doesn't look down on others and also builds trust. Let's see another example clip.
Okay, I went to Juilliard.
Oh, you went to Juilliard,
okay.
yeah.
No, you know what my kids hate? When I sing.
Oh, really?
You can see that Oscar does this with a little touch of arrogance, which makes it a little more funny and has a little more confidence to it. But when he was mentioning that he was going to Juilliard, which is a really famous music and art performance school, he immediately brings it down by saying that his kids hates his singing. But note here is that when you're sharing imperfections, make sure it's lighthearted, because if you drop something really deep, it changes the tone of the conversation completely into something that's more deep and more somber. And let's say if you want to apply this for your daily life, some of the things that you can say might be, oh, I was going and offering this cat food, and the cat didn't even sniff it. I don't think the cat likes me. Or you can say something like, oh, I wore this shirt inside out for half a day before I even realized it. Through these small imperfections, people start to trust you more, and you also give off an air of confidence because you are able to be vulnerable with what you share. If you like what you see so far, hit that like button. Let's talk about the next point, which is adding existing elements to the conversation.
A lot of Juilliard graduates, you've already managed to mention that you went there.
Yep. Number 1 rule of Juilliard, always talk about Juilliard.
But this is something...
Here the host is setting up a joke about Juilliard and just something regarding like the fame of it. Oscar took that and add an imaginary rule to it to kind of further exaggerate that joke. When you take that existing element and add a little more to it, you show that you understand what the topic or the joke is, and you are able to further build on it, making you seem a lot more confident, comfortable within that situation. For the next one, focus on how Oscar is adding to the concept of outgrew.
Comedy for kids. Like, I feel like I outgrew that faster than my peers.
Yeah, I mean, I think after Deer Hunter, like Transformers was a little difficult to go back to, you know?
You're like...
He took the concept of outgrew, added a little joke from it with his personal experience, making it a lot more interesting and relatable while sharing some parts of it about himself. If you were trying to add this in a conversation, something you can do for yourself might be, let's say the topic was Starbucks. You can say, wow, last time I went to Starbucks, I saw 7 people gathering there, playing chess together, and everyone was so absorbed within that chess match. I really miss that in a community. By taking that topic and adding some of those personal experiences to it, it allows people to start building trust with you, which allows you to have more influence and also shows that confidence. Our next point is being direct and candid. Look at this part where he kind of semi-corrects the host about the details of the platypus.
It was Noah's Ark from a platypus's perspective?
Yeah, from a doubtful platypus, because he just didn't buy it.
Oh, that's a...
Making these kind of corrections makes it feel more genuine and confident. Because when you're having conversations with someone, it's normal that they don't understand everything that you're talking about. When you make those small corrections, it shows that you are actually sharing exactly what you want the person to understand, and you want them to understand it. Let's see another example.
Weird jobs before you found your path to being an actor?
Not many.
Okay.
I've never really been able to do much else. I worked...
See that his response was so short and candid. Not many. Like, that's it. He didn't sugarcoat anything. When you're so direct with those type of response, it really gives off that air of genuineness and confidence. But one of the things I do want to note here is that you also have to be tactful when you are direct. Because If you don't like someone's hat, you don't always have to mention it. But on the other hand, if you're talking about things about yourself, then you can be a little more liberal. An example of this can be, my hair length? I don't really like it at this length. Short, direct, candid, and that's okay. This last point I want to talk about is that this is not a presentation, because Oscar Isaac has actually made a lot of different mistakes and say things that didn't even make sense sometimes. And throughout all this whole thing, he was still a very confident person. And you can be that person too, just not overthink every small details. So let's look at them.
Yeah, no, it was when I got, and so they said, and I would just like I got to know that they had a very.
Can you see that how when he was forming his thoughts, sometimes there will be sentences that come out in multiple directions, and some of them didn't even make sense. Give yourself a break when you're talking to people that not every single thing has to make sense, because that's the natural part of a conversation. Sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes people are trying to gather what they're trying to say. And all those things are incorporated within the human interaction. So as a summary, show your imperfections, add to the existing elements, be direct and candid, and also don't be perfect. If you have found this video helpful, you might like my other video on how to become more witty. But that is it, and I'll talk to you guys next time.